maybe that's the situation. You've done nothing wrong. Number one, when an officer comes up and approaches you, roll down your window slightly, hand them what's required in your state. Most of the time that's going to be certainly your driver's license. That's normally required. And in many states, you're going to be required to provide registration of your vehicle. Why? Because if you don't provide proof of registration, that's actually a traffic offense. That can be a basis for the officer to now search anyway. So if you're not at least following the basic traffic laws, you don't have proof of registration, that can be a basis for the officer to do more. So, but you don't have to engage in any conversation. The most important thing is be polite, be quiet, provide them the proof, let them run it, and just basically don't open your mouth any further. Number two, don't engage in any small talk. I know this is hard. Many times people will want to engage in small talk. You'll feel nervous. The officer will walk up and start speaking to you, and you'll feel like you have to just continue to talk. This is actually what the officers are trained to do. If they can get you to talk more and more and more, they're allowed to now be able to establish that they don't like either your body language, or they feel like you were holding something back, or they can use that as a basis now to establish probable cause, potentially, to search your vehicle. So one of the things you can do is don't engage in any small talk, and if the officer starts asking you a number of direct questions, trying to aggressively get you to engage in conversation or ask where you're coming from, where you're going, what are you doing, what's in your car, remember, you can exercise your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, but you must actually say it. There's case law out there that if you just remain silent without actually exercising that right, the officer can actually use your silence against you. I actually have a video that I covered this issue. This is really important to remember. So, what do you say? Officer, I exercise my right to remain silent, and I refuse to answer any other questions. That's number two. Number three, ask the officer if you are free to leave. Understand how the way cops work. A lot of times what they're going to do is they're going to walk up to you and they're going to start speaking to you. They'll grab your driver's license, your registration. They'll go run to see if you have any warrants, and then they'll walk back up to you and start this small talk. But what they're really going to be doing is trying to delay as long as they can. If they're going to claim they smell the whiff of pot coming from your car, they're also likely going to call for a drug dog to come out because they're going to want to do a more thorough search. Or even if they don't smell, let's say they don't smell pot at all and they don't use that as an excuse, they're going to want to prolong this so they can have the drug dog show up. So one of the things that's really important for you to do is to ask, officer, am I free to leave? This will force the officer to answer one way or the other. If he answers no, then now you have made it clear you wish to leave and you're asking if you are free to leave. And now the clock has definitely been going and starting here because an officer is not allowed to prolong a traffic stop any longer than is necessary in order to write you that ticket. This is established Supreme Court law. So by doing this, you're letting the officer know you know the law. And you're also you're helping your attorney. You're helping your attorney so that in the future, if this becomes a prolonged traffic stop that then leads to a search, that leads to an arrest, your actual attorney can file a motion to suppress to potentially get the entire thing thrown out in court. Okay, so that is a critical point. Officer, am I free to leave? If he says yes,
shout out to How to Eat
roll up your
video.
window
I got that in
and
the
drive away.
playlist.
He
Y'all
says
need to go check out the playlist on the channel.
At this time, I exercise my right to remain silent. I refuse to answer any questions. And then hold pat. Finally, if you know there is no odor of marijuana and the police are there and they're using it as a pretext to search your car, look, don't fight it. The time to fight is not at the roadside. The time to fight is in court. We may all know that there is no odor of marijuana, and that may be being used as a basis against you. But if you're in a state where marijuana is legal, you're in good standing because now you can have your attorney come in contest it. If you're in a state where marijuana is legal, then either way, the officer may legally be able to do what they're doing, but fighting them on the issue is not going to help you. All right, so this is what you know. If you're in a state where marijuana is completely legal, a whiff of pot's not going to cut it. If you're in a state where it's illegal in any capacity, courts are still going to allow it in many instances as a basis to search your car. See you next time.
Which parent are you? In the bustling city of Nutriville, a group of extraordinary individuals has emerged, known far and wide as the superfood parents. They are on a mission to transform their families' lives through the power of nutrition, one delicious bite at a time. Meet Chef Lock.